Hello, this is Professor Asmi Parveen from Department of Psychology, and today I will discuss about the validity. Validity, as we all know, is a very important aspect in research and testing, as it determines how well a test measures what it claims to measure. For example, if a math skills test accurately measures math skills and not something else, it is considered valid. Establishing validity is important because it ensures that the results of a test are accurate and not misleading. Without validity, test results could be incorrect or deceptive. In research, validity plays a very significant role in determining the accuracy of a test. Researchers often consider various factors to assess validity, including reliability. Reliability refers to the consistency of test results over time and within the test itself. If a test demonstrates good reliability, researchers can have confidence in the accuracy of their scores. However, reliability alone does not guarantee validity. Even if a test is highly reliable, it may still fail to measure what it is intended to measure. So, validity encompasses more than just reliability. Different researchers have given different definitions of validity, and according to Cronberg, validity is the extent to which a test measures what it purports to measure. According to Freeman, validity, an index of validity shows the degree to which a test measures what it purports to measure when compared with accepted criteria. According to Vinastasi, the validity of a test concerns what the test measures and how well it does so. So, why is validity important? Validity is important in research as it determines the usefulness, and validity is important in research as it determines the usefulness and reliability of study results. Without validity, the findings become worthless for our research purposes, rendering their study ineffective in answering our research questions. Furthermore, if a study fails to measure what we want it to measure, the results cannot be applied to other situations or used to draw meaningful conclusions. It is important to understand that validity in one case does not guarantee validity in measuring something completely different. Therefore, ensuring validity is essential for obtaining accurate and applicable results in research. There are different types of validity, and in qualitative research, there are three types of validity that researchers consider: phase and content validity, concurrent and predictive validity, and construct validity. Phase and content validity is a crucial concept in research as it determines how well a measurement tool captures what it is intended to measure. Phase validity is used to determine if a test or measurement tool accurately measures what it is intended to measure. It does not involve complex calculations or scientific evidence, but rather relies on common sense and expert opinions made by individuals. Essentially, face validity is a subjective judgment made by individuals who are knowledgeable about the subject being measured based on their initial impressions of the test or tool. When a test has face validity, it appears valid and applicable to those utilizing it. To illustrate this concept, consider a math test designed to assess fundamental math skills. Individuals with expertise in mathematics should view this test as an effective means of measuring those specific skills. Similarly, if a psychological questionnaire claims to evaluate symptoms of depression, individuals familiar with depression should perceive the questions within the questionnaire as relevant to the symptoms associated with this mental health condition. In both cases, face validity is determined by the opinion of those who possess knowledge and understanding of the subject matter. Content validity goes beyond surface level considerations and delves into the underlying components of a subject. For instance, when measuring test anxiety, a valid measure would encompass questions about both the nervous feeling and negative thoughts associated with it. Attitudes are another example involving thoughts, feelings, and actions towards something. Therefore, when measuring attitudes toward exercise, a valid measure would encompass all three aspects. To grasp content validity more comprehensively, let us consider a scenario involving a mobile phone company conducting a customer satisfaction survey for a new cell phone model. The survey must inquire about various aspects of the product, such as its features, quality, performance, color, design, and price. If important questions regarding these factors are omitted, the survey results will not accurately reflect customer satisfaction. Conversely, if the survey includes irrelevant questions unrelated to the product, the results will also lack validity. Thus, ensuring that the survey covers all relevant aspects is essential for obtaining valid results. Now, I will explain the determination of face and content validity. Face and content validity is determined by the logical connection between the questions asked and the objectives of the study. This means that each question on the research instrument must have a clear link to an objective in order for it to be considered valid. The stronger the link, the more valid the instrument is seen to be. It is also important for the questions to cover all aspects of the issue or attitude being measured. If the different items of the instrument cover various aspects of the issue, it indicates good content validity. Additionally, the questions should provide a balanced representation of the issue, meaning that each aspect should be adequately represented. Content validity is also judged based on how well the statements or questions represent the issue they are meant to measure, as assessed by the researcher or the experts of the field. To establish validity, providing logical arguments seem easy and straightforward, but there are underlying complexities that need to be considered. One of the main challenges is that these arguments are often based on personal opinions, making it difficult to reach definitive conclusions. What one person deems as valid, another may disagree with entirely. This subjectivity highlights the inherent limitations of logical arguments and the need for a more objective approach. Another factor that can impact the validity of an argument is the choice of questions used in research. If a researcher decides to substitute one question for another, it can significantly alter how well the questions align with the goal of the study. This means that the validity of the argument and its alignment with the objectives can vary depending on the specific questions chosen for analysis. It is crucial for researchers to carefully consider the implications of their questions selection to ensure the integrity of their findings. In addition to the challenges posed by personal opinions and question selection, it is important to recognize that logical arguments are not static entities. They can evolve and change over time as new information becomes available or perspectives shift. What may have been considered a valid argument in the past may no longer hold true in the light of new evidence or changing societal norms. This dynamic nature further emphasizes the need for critical thinking and ongoing evaluation of logical arguments. Next category of validity is concurrent and predictive validity. Concurrent validity is a method to determine the accuracy and reliability of a new measurement tool. It involves comparing the scores obtained from the new tool with those from an established tool that measures the same thing. This comparison ensures that the new tool is effectively measuring what it is intended to measure. For instance, if researchers are developing a new test for depression, they would compare the scores obtained from their test with scores from a well known depression test administered to the same individuals at the same time. By establishing both predictive and concurrent validity, researchers can ensure that measurement tools can be trusted and utilized in various situations. This is crucial for professionals, decision makers, and researchers who rely on these tools to make informed judgments and decisions. Predictive validity, predictive validity is a method that is used to determine how accurately a test can predict future outcomes. This concept is applied in various fields such as education and psychology. In schools, predictive validity examines how well test scores can forecast a student's performance in college or in future exams. Similarly, in psychology, it assesses whether test scores can predict factors like an individual's response to treatment or the likelihood of experiencing a relapse. To establish predictive validity, researchers conduct studies that track individuals over time to observe if the test can accurately anticipate future events. Third type of validity is construct validity. Construct validity is a crucial aspect of research as it determines how accurately a research instrument measures what it is intended to measure. This validity is established through the use of statistical methods which allow researchers to assess the relationship between different factors and the overall concept being studied. For example, if we want to understand job satisfaction among employees, we may consider factors such as status, job nature, and pay. By creating questions that explore how individuals perceive the contribution of each factor to their job satisfaction, we can analyze the data and employ statistical procedures to determine the extent to which these factors influence overall job satisfaction. The greater the impact of these factors on job satisfaction, the more valid our instrument becomes. However, it is important to note that achieving construct validity requires a solid understanding of specific statistical procedures. While construct validity is an essential component of research, it does come with certain limitations. And one drawback is the necessity for knowledge and expertise in specific statistical procedures. So, researchers must possess the skills to effectively analyze the data and interpret the results in order to establish construct validity. This requirement may pose challenges for individuals who are not well versed in statistical procedures, potentially limiting their ability to accurately measure and evaluate the concepts they are studying. Construct validity also verifies that a test aligns with established theories and concepts, guaranteeing that it measures what it intends to measure. For instance, if a test aims to assess self esteem, construct validity examines whether the questions truly capture the essence of self esteem and not something else. This validation process is essential as it confirms that the test accurately measures its intended target and not an unrelated factor. Construct validity also plays a significant role in measuring concepts such as education level and income level. It ensures that the indicators used to measure these concepts genuinely represent them and can differentiate between them. If education level increases, construct validity expects income level to increase as well, establishing a clear relationship between the two variables. However, when it comes to emotions, direct measurement becomes challenging due to the absence of a specific unit of measurement. Instead, we rely on a combination of various indicators to assess emotions. For example, to measure happiness, we consider factors like high energy levels, positivity, and frequency of laughter or smiles. These indicators provide us with an overall understanding of someone's happiness. In contrast, anxiety can be measured by examining symptoms such as restlessness, feeling on edge, difficulty in concentrating, and other indicative factors. These indicators help us comprehend the extent of anxiety and individual experiences. By utilizing these diverse indicators, we gain a more comprehensive understanding of someone's emotional state, allowing for a more accurate assessment. To determine if a test has construct validity, there are several factors to consider. Firstly, a test should accurately measure the theoretical construct it is designed to assess. For example, a test that claims to measure leadership ability should not be measuring something completely different like extroversion. This means that the test should align with the intended construct and not confuse or misrepresent it. Secondly, a test with construct validity should only measure what it intends to measure. It should not include measurements of unrelated constructs. For example, a test of musical aptitude should not require a high level of reading ability. The focus should solely be on assessing the musical abilities of the individual. Lastly, a test with construct validity should be able to predict outcomes related to the theoretical concepts it is measuring. For example, a test of musical ability should be able to predict who would benefit from music lessons, differentiate between individuals pursuing a career in music and those who are not, and correlate with other tests of musical ability. This predictive power demonstrates the effectiveness of the test in capturing the essence of the construct. Construct validity is of two types. First is convergent and divergent validity. Convergent validity is important aspect of psychological research as it allows researchers to assess the reliability and accuracy of their studies. By comparing new measures with the existing ones, researchers can determine how well a test or measurement relates to other tests or measurements that it should be related to. For instance, if new te- for instance, if new tests for anxiety or risk taking align with established tests for these traits, it demonstrates convergent validity. This process ensures that researchers are using reliable tools that accurately measure what they are intended to measure. Ultimately, understanding and utilizing these concepts in psychological research leads to a deeper comprehension of human cognition and behavior. In order to establish convergent validity, researchers must carefully select existing measurements that are known to be related to the concept being studied. These established measurements serve as benchmarks against which the new measurements can be compared. By demonstrating a positive correlation between the new and established measurements, researchers can confidently conclude that their new measurements are valid and reliable. Second category is divergent or discriminant validity. It is a concept that is often overlooked but is crucial in ensuring the accuracy and reliability of a measurement tool. It means that the tool should be able to measure what it is intended to measure without being influenced by unrelated factors. To establish discriminant or divergent validity, researchers need to show that scores on the test have weak connections to measures of unrelated things. If there are strong connections to unrelated things, it suggests that the test is not truly measuring what it is supposed to, making it less reliable. Demonstrating divergent validity confirms that the test accurately captures the specific thing it is meant to measure without being affected by irrelevant factors. This ensures that the measurement tool is precise and accurate in assessing the specific thing of interest. Both convergent and divergent validity play vital roles in establishing the trustworthiness and effectiveness of a measurement tool. Convergent validity looks at how a new measure aligns with existing measures of the same thing, while divergent validity examines how the new measure relates to measures of unrelated things. By demonstrating both types of validity, researchers can ensure that the measurement tool accurately captures the specific thing of interest while minimizing the influence of irrelevant factors. Concept validity is an important aspect of testing that goes beyond other forms of validity. It refers to how well a test actually measures the specific constructs it is designed to measure, and to determine if a test has construct validity, there are several factors to consider. Firstly, a test should accurately measure the theoretical construct it claims to measure and not something else. For example, a test that claims to assess leadership ability should not actually be measuring extraversion. This ensures that the test is focused on the intended construct and provides accurate results. Secondly, a test with construct validity should measure what it intends to measure without including unrelated constructs. For instance, a test of musical aptitude should not require a high level of reading ability. By eliminating unrelated constructs, the test can provide a more accurate assessment of the targeted construct. A test should be useful in predicting outcomes related to the theoretical concepts it measures. For example, a test of musical ability should be able to predict who would benefit from music lessons. This predictive ability demonstrates the effectiveness of the test in assessing the construct it aims to measure. With this, I conclude my lecture. Thank you.